Hi there, Vanchanda here. Thank you for joining in. And we are en route to 1,200 subscribers. And I do appreciate you taking your time watching this video. And I appreciate the views as well. They help me a lot. So stick around, and I'm hoping that you find this video to be of value. Without further ado, let's just dive into today's agenda. So at number one, I'll give you a scenario before I give you the first point that you need to do to cut your expenses. When you're going to a pharmacy, you're going there to get medication, but you can't just go there, without a diagnosis. You understand? So it's the doctor who gives you, or the clinician who gives you the diagnosis, and therefore he'll prescribe the medication that is suitable for that ailment. So when you go into a pharmacy, you're going to buy something that will help you at the end of the day or heal what you're suffering from. So it's the same thing. If you want to cut your expenses, you can't just cut your expenses from nowhere. You need to know where and how you have been spending your money, and how and where you have been spending your money. This is how you find out. And this point number one, track your expenses. So tracking your expenses simply, like, you can give yourself, say, next month, that's June. When you get paid in June, make sure that when you buy, either you're paying something, paying rentals or your debts, or you're buying grocery, ensure that whatever you do with that money for that particular month, you write it down. Because at the end of that payment flow, you will take that paper and do the analysis, and that will show you where the lump sum of your money is going. And therefore, when you now come in time for you to cut expenses, you know where to cut the expenses, because the numbers are on paper, and you are able, you make an informed decision. You're not just cutting from nowhere. Yeah. So number one, you need to track your expenses, and this is very, very critical. Yeah. Yeah. So at number two, you need to prep for meals. In other words, if you take, for example, that okay, next week, this is the meal that I want to eat, or I want to cook. So such that when you go to the grocery, you know what you're going to buy. So number two is prepping your meals, and number three is stick with a list. You know how the shops are arranged, there's psychology in it. If you go into any big supermarket or even a small supermarket, you find that just by the tills there are those sweets that they're not as expensive, but they're costing you, 10 kula in a week or in a month. That's 40 bucks that you would have saved if you had stuck to your list. Yeah. So number two is prep the meals, because if you prep your meals, you avoid instances where, oh, this one. I mean, if you have come across if you have come across where you are forced to throw food from the fridge because they are rotten, please comment in the section here. It simply means that that food, you just bought it, or you just got that ingredient, not really thinking of how you're going to use it. So it's a waste. And we don't want to waste. We want to save as much money as we can. So number two is prep your meals. Number three is stick to your grocery list. Yeah. Number four, this one I'm going to quote one of my favorite verses. Let them call you a fool, but in your foolishness there's wisdom. So it's wholesome. Now, if you want to save money, you have to consider there are many things that you need to consider when it comes to renting a house. Because if you're single and you don't have kids, what is the point? I mean, this is my opinion, like I mentioned, I'm not a financial, but I'm just thinking out loud. What is the point of staying in a big fancy house that you're paying a lot of money, while you can use that same money to actually invest and build your big fancy house? You understand? So, in my opinion, if you want to cut your expenses, just consider where you're staying. If you're staying in a big house, there's nothing wrong in downsizing, so that when you downsize, you're saving money that eventually you're going to invest. Remember, let them call you a fool, but in your foolishness, there's wisdom. And there was a time when I was like single, and locate or staying in and it's a city, or staying in just a small house, just a room and then the bathroom because it's just me. And, I mean, even if when you walk out, it won't be written that, hey, she's staying in a small house. No, you're staying in a small house, but at the end of the day, you are saving so that you can build that big fancy house. Huh? Yeah. So housing a downgrade, that's even allows it. Downgrade so that you can free some money. Yeah. Number 5, this one here, I just want to make my disclaimer louder to say that, hey, I'm not a financier, I'm just I'm sharing my opinion. If it works for you, if it doesn't, it's still cool, as long as whatever you're doing works for you, it's good for me. So number 5 here, try as much as you can to use cash. Here's why I say that. If you go, okay, what I found is that if I go in, say for example, in a supermarket and I have my card, I know that, and knowing that I have money in the account, so I might go just to go and buy maybe bread, milk, But then when I go into the shop with that card, knowing that I have money, I'll see all these other things that I don't have all of a sudden. And instead of spending 50 bucks, I'll end up spending 150. And that is money that you did not budget for, and that pulls you in the negative. So as much as you can, I mean, constrain yourself. If you know that this is what I'm going to buy, milk and bread, get 50 bucks, go in the shop, and you won't be tempted. Even when you are tempted, you won't have the money to buy extra. So as much as you can, use cash. So number 6, you can run, but you cannot hide. Here is in a case where you have debts. If you have taken some monies with the notion of paying back, you need to do so. So number 6 is make a plan to pay your debts. You can't run away from them. And here's the thing, because when you pay your debts, you actually free in some monies. But then if you run away from your debts, you are digging a deeper hole for you. So here it's also dependent on your school of thought. If you have different debts with different interests, you can have those that with higher interest, those with less interest. If it's according to you, you can pay either start paying the ones that are included in all your debts. Say for instance, if you have 4 debts with this one's the highest interest, this one is the least interest. So if depending on your school of thoughts, you can decide to pay minimum payments on these 3, but then concentrate with extra monies on paying the one with the highest interest. Or some prefer to pay the one with the least interest, because once this one is paid off, it gives you a motivation to keep on paying the rest. And the thing is, with paying your debts, the more you pay, the more you free your money. So just one point that I don't want to forget. Yes, and the other way of looking at it is maybe you have people that you're owing 4 of them, or not just people, but whoever you're owing. If, for instance, you owe this one the less amount, 1,000, this one 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, some people prefer paying this one first, 1,000, so that when you pay this one, you're motivated to now pay the rest. So this is just, I'll leave it to discretion, but the message that I'm putting across is you need to make a plan to pay your debts, because the more you pay them, the more you free the monies. Yeah. Number 7, sometimes you need to give the jack their jackets. Yeah, there are things that sometimes just belongs to the jack, and there are things that belongs to everyone. That's why they say that's not it's not every jack and Jill. So there are things that you find yourself in that are costing you money, things like with all due respect, with all due respect, I mean, if you can afford it, then it's good to go. But if you can't, things like gym membership. If you really want to lose weight, you don't lose weight while you are in dance. This is just my opinion. I'd rather maybe just take a walk or run in free stadiums like university stadiums that you can just access for free instead of paying a subscription for 600, and I just go there once in a month or twice in a month. So that is costing me. Sometimes we find ourselves in debt because we want to please friend A and B, but friend A and B can afford, but you can't afford. So these are some of the things that we need to look into. And also, this is just my opinion. Things like cable, if you want a full bouquet and you are in debt, some of the things they don't really, it's more like the conundrum, they don't go hand in hand. If you're in debt, there are things that, or if you want to free some monies, consider looking at this subscription, the DSTVs, the gym membership and everything. Those are the areas that you can really free some monies, because even if you cut, you won't die. For now, it's a chapter, because you want to free some money to use it for something else, for investing. So that's number 7. Look at your subscriptions and free expenses. Things that you don't need, cut them out. Number 8, eating out. It's good once in a while to go and chow the money that you have worked, you have sweat, because you've been working. So once in a while. But those are some of the areas that you also need to consider when it comes to now cutting the expenses. Because if you go out nowadays, things are expensive. Things that you used to buy, like a burger, for instance, at $30, now you're buying it at 60. 60, you can buy 5 kg sugar. So do the weighing and balancing. So if somebody who goes out almost every weekend, reconsider that. And if you reconsider just be in your room and be with your friends without going out, you are actually freeing some monies. And number 9 will be your Wi-Fi. There are different companies now. Even here in Botswana, there are different companies that are offering the internet connectivity. Some at 500, some at 1.5, some at 300. So scout around, and if you're paying a more expensive one, you might just want to free some monies and go for something cheaper, but still working. You know what I mean? So that's number 9. And now number 10. This one is a secret. But then if you are in Botswana in particular, this I have experienced, and I do it most of the time, is when it comes to buying electricity. Now, when you buy electricity, this is now for Botswana. If you buy electricity around about the 20 something, it's more expensive than when you're buying around about the beginning of the month. So if you don't know this and you're hearing it for the first time, please just write it. Just say thank you for that tip. Yes. So you are saving. Remember, we're talking about cutting expenses. So it's a save for you. So try it. As last time I did it, just last month, it went. I hope that they haven't changed yet. And something to try it. And if it works, please write in the comment section. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, those were my 10 tips of cutting your expenses. Hopefully the video was valuable, and please, if you have not subscribed, please do consider to subscribe. If you're not subscribing, just give it a thumbs up. That will help me, and I really appreciate it. And we are still en route 1.2, and yes, we'll get there. Please help me to get there. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video.